The tape. 1 year later.
Y'all were coming for us.
Yeah, but Tavis, that's not in my heart. I wasn't coming for anyone like that. I apologize, but that was not me. That's not in my heart. And like I said a few moments ago, I have a solid, demonstrable record of shared power that's real and concrete. That can't be misinterpreted.
Join Tavis Smiley and an all-star panel of political insiders, influencers, and journalists for a look back at the crisis that shook LA City Hall when 4 Latino leaders were caught on tape making racist, demeaning, and derogatory statements about black people and other fellow citizens on Monday, October 9th, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. The tape, 1 year later. We're broadcast live an afternoon drive from 5 to 7 p.m. with an immediate encore presentation from 7 to 9 p.m. When all was said and done, was more said than done. 1 year later. Are there fractures in LA's black-brown political partnership? And where do we go from here? Don't miss The Tape, 1 year later. Only on KBLA Talk 1580, Monday, October 9th, live from 5 to 7 p.m. with an immediate encore presentation from 7 to 9 p.m. We've got a lot to talk about.
Money back. Money back. Money back. Bitch, I'm making like a money back. Money back. God, I do the Maybach on Monday, Ferrari Friday. This is sweet Saturday, that's just what I say. I say, babe, it's a snack. He said it's an entree. With them pretty ass twins, you look like Beyonce. Looking like money back, money back, money back, money back, money back, money back, yeah. Money
Come
back,
on,
money back,
Cardi.
money back, money back, money back. He can tell.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580, Hour 2. Thank you for locking in, VIPs. Of course, this is the show where we hit all the trending topics and headlines across sports, entertainment, lifestyle, and culture. I'm not sure why I said sports first. I usually say entertainment. Maybe because I have some sports stories coming up for you. We touched on it a little bit, but I didn't give you full details. So here's the deal. Allegedly, Kim Kardashian and Odell Beckham Jr. have been hanging out. Odell quietly parted ways with his son's mother, Lola Wood. They had been together a few years. They allegedly broke up at the beginning of this year. And, they are co-parenting happily, right? We know that right now it's the NFL season. We're in season, and Odell plays for the Baltimore Ravens. But he and Kim are supposedly getting closer. Now, some are saying that no, they're just hanging out with a group of people. We kind of heard the same thing about Kim and Tom Brady a couple months ago. If you believe the rumors, Kim jumped the gun a little bit and probably blew her shot with that, but we don't know. So we'll see what comes with she and OBJ, but just wondering, is it still the same type of excitement about a Kardashian and an athlete hooking up as it was like 3 or 4 years ago? We actually all kind of thought that the Kardashians had moved over to the other white meat and had left us behind. But maybe not. Depends on how bright your star is. I'm not sure where Odell is at in between of that. But sources say they're strictly friends and just have a couple of mutual friends in common, but you never can tell with the Kardashian PR machine what's real and what's not. But in case it hums to be, you are informed. Now, you heard us listening to Cardi. We love Cardi B, right? She and Megan just dropped their single Bongos a couple of days ago. People are going crazy over the video. Well, one of the critiques that's always leveled at Cardi is that she doesn't necessarily write her own music. Well, she clapped back recently at the people who criticize her for using songwriters. She says that all of your favorite artists receive assistance in the creation of their hits. A social media user asked her about the statements, and she said that even if she doesn't write very many of her lyrics, she said that her musical dreams preceded her time on Love and Hip Hop, right? And she said, I started music before Love and Hip Hop and wrote about my struggles and life as a dancer. Go listen to those mixtapes. I also went to school for musical theater and technology. I wasn't aware that Cardi went to school for musical theater and musical theater technology. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Hopefully, somebody will share with me if they are informed. But I guess her point is that she does this performing thing, and in theory, that probably is why she gives such good live performances in comparison to some of her contemporaries, if that is true, because she knows how to present on a stage. Although I do think that all dancers, well, maybe not all, but to a degree, there's a bit of theater in that. And so they learn a performance aspect in addition to just, twerking and booty shaking. But that's just my thought process. At any rate, Cardi says, yeah, she has some help in the studio, but that most of the assistance doesn't have anything to do with her verses. She says just because someone might help her with a hook, it doesn't mean anything. She says if you look at any of your favorite artist credits, they all receive help. Which is true because, we can talk about like with interlopes and samples and all of these things. Some people would say that if you include any portion of someone else's song, for example, or lyrics, that you're not being your full creative self. There's a debate about Beyonce. If she is in that regard really talented because some of her songs have 20 songwriters on it. The flip side of that though is that people want to be paid their worth. They want to be paid for the usage of their music. So if you use a little sample or you flip a double entendre to fit your song and to kind of apply the lyric in there, the originator of that should get credit, but it doesn't mean per se that they made the song. I don't know. I feel like context trips people up all the time now, especially when we come to things like talent and what that creative stew is or mix. So, Andy, you are pretty dialed in as far as music and, opinionated. Do you believe that if an artist doesn't write any of their music, it takes away from them or it knocks them down a couple of pegs as far as being that top tier star?
When it comes to hip hop, yes. Um, from the beginning, there was this perspective that rappers write their own material. When it comes to R&B, not so much because I think the focus is more on the voice as opposed to the content. I mean, we care about the content, but I think like when we listen to Beyonce, we kind of care more so about her voice. If you're an R&B singer, I think that's first. I think you do get extra points if like, okay, we know that Beyonce wrote the song, right? Like Irreplaceable, for example, right? Neo is the one who wrote that song.
Right.
We obviously, when we think about that song now, we give credit to Neo. But I think, if Beyonce wrote the record, we'd be like, okay, she's also a writer too. Outside of just being a vocalist, she's a writer too. But, back to hip hop, I think so. It definitely matters because I think the skill is formulating words. You know what I'm saying? You're being able to deliver your rhymes. And I think it would come from, if it came from you as a writer, it weighs a little bit more than somebody else writing for you.
So, but here's the thing though. I feel like, and I do understand that because I understand what hip hop means and that is our origins. But I wonder if we are holding artists back with the evolution of the art because I think about how, just like we point out how some people can deliver a song and we feel it from the heart. There's some people that deliver these lyrics that you could have sworn it floated just out of their pen. Drake is one of the top rappers, across the board. And we've heard the reference tracks for some of his stuff. And I mean, I know it's a conversation, but really, did Drake really, really, really take any smoke because of that? Do people really care?
I do think so, yeah. I think maybe that's one of the reasons. I mean, people consider Drake to be the GOAT now, as far as this generation goes. But I think for true hip hop heads, we look at it like, you know what? Drake didn't write all that. So we gonna knock him down a peg. That's not to discredit his artistry. But see, at the same time, when we talk about an artist's artistry, that's the thing about songwriters. It's like, well, why don't you be at the forefront? If you're the one who wrote the song, you might not just have the look. You know what I mean? You might not have the voice. That's the reason you're not put at the forefront. So, you know what? I wrote this song. Let me give this to Drake. Like, quite frankly, when I found out that he wasn't the one behind the Meek Mill diss back to back, I'm not going to front. It kind of...
It took some steam off of it for you?
It took some steam off just a little bit. I was like, man, Drake, that wasn't your words. That did not come from you. You know what I'm saying? It came from somebody else. But because you're Drake, you know, you could deliver somebody else's work. And, you know...
Isn't that a type of artistry though? Because we've seen people. No, not at
Nah.
all. You're like, no, not at all. No.
No, that's like Allen Iverson playing for Kobe. Like, you know, it doesn't work. You're writing for me, but I'm the one delivering it. Nah, like, and at the end of the day, behind the scenes, we know that you still get the credit for it.
Right.
You still get paid, but you know, you're not at the forefront. It to me, it doesn't come from an authentic place unless I'm like, yo, Jill, this is what happened to me. Could you do this for me, right? This is a real...
So then you collaborate, like you formulate it, but it's my story.
Boom.
But I think that that's what a lot of this is, too, because when you hear these conversations, a lot of time they talk about, you know, talking in the studio. Even, you know, from an R&B or a regular song perspective, they'll say, oh, well, like, for example, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis talk about with Janet Jackson and that first album. She shared a lot what was going on in her life, and they had conversations, and they formulated some of those records. And obviously, you know, I just saw Janet said that that record still hasn't been broken when she released Rhythm Nation with 7 singles going, I think, #1, she said, or something. I might be mixing up the record slightly that she broke, but it still hasn't been broken to this day. And that album was released 30 years ago.
Different time, though.
Okay.
Different
Okay.
time.
So it is a different time. So now people are writing raps for their other artists and stuff.
And that's why these people today that are having their raps written for them probably not we don't put them in high regards like that.
Because I mean that is very, very true. But I think about, like, is it Lil Uzi Vert that wrote the stuff for the City Girls?
No, that was Lil Yachty.
I mean Lil Yachty, not Lil Uzi.
Lil Yachty, he was the one.
Okay, I thought it was JT.
And what's crazy is that made me have a little bit more respect for Lil Yachty. You know what I'm saying? It may like that was an Act Bad or Act Up from the City Girls.
Yeah.
That song knocked, right?
Right.
But when I found out that Lil Yachty wrote it, I was like, for real? Like I thought the essence of that song came from, and you know what? They probably had a conversation, you know, City Girls and Lil Yachty. And Lil Yachty's like, okay, I get the vibe from JT, I get the vibe from Young Miami. Let me go ahead and write this. But I don't know. I just think the value is just weighed a little bit. Like Missy Elliott, for example. She writes all of her stuff. You gotta give her like just.
I mean, but Missy's out of this world. She's something else.
There you go.
So in the chat, Shannon Thompson says, I don't write rhymes, I write checks, Diddy. That's right. Or it came from Candy. She writes for everybody. T. Sworn says, I think it depends on the topics of the rap, like Dear Mama versus Party Up Jam.
Facts.
Okay.
I'm with him on that one.
Well, when we come forward, we will get into more trending topics and headlines. We're going to talk a little bit about what is going on with Michael Jackson. He has a movie planned coming out. Not literally him, but it's about him. It's a movie musical. Not musical. We'll get into the details. I'm kind of mixing it up, trying to tease you there. Just tap in. We're going to talk about Sherry Shepherd and what new things she has done that she just recently announced. And we're going to talk about YouTube suspending one of its top participants, I guess we should call them, based off of some allegations. Is it fair or foul? All of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
In Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, children are the future. Here, tobacco companies are committed to higher education, offering scholarships to students who submit essays about the benefits of vaping. The tobacco industry even sponsors summer camps for kids. Don't worry, the tobacco-sponsored programs have been linked to leaving your kids more interested in smoking. In Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, the world's deadliest industry is your child's friend. See reality at undo.org.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Learn more at chase.com/business premier. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Account subject to credit approval. Restrictions and limitations apply. Cards are issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank, NA member FDIC.
Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580. Are you worried about your credit score? Well, look, you can rebuild it. There are lots of factors that go into determining your credit score, but one of the most effective ways to improve your score is to consistently pay your bills on time, over time. If you're forgetful about payments like me, try automating your bill payments. That way all your creditors get paid on time and you'll have freed yourself of trying to remember. Whatever your financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives can help support you in reaching them. Access your financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So, Sherry, she returned with her talk show. Unlike Drew Barrymore, who has decided to pause again because of several complaints about her bringing the show back. Bill Maher also said, never mind, forget it. He was going to bring back Real Time with Bill Maher, but has since decided to move away. But Sherry has returned, and it's season 2, and she revealed some exciting information about herself. So Sherry's 56 years old, and she shared with the audience that while she was on break, she decided to make a change to her physical appearance because it was something that, had been kind of weighing on her mind. She said that she had been holding on to a secret since July 13th, all last season, she said. Pretty much her entire career, she would get a lot of comments about her body. And a lot of people kept saying to her, Sherry, you're way too top heavy. And if you just got a boob job, everything would be balanced out on your body. So she said that she got her boobs done. She said that everything is bigger for season 2 except for her boobs. And she said that downsizing her breast was not just because people made the suggestion. It's not really about outside influences. It was just that, she wanted something different for herself. She said she wanted to be able to sleep on her stomach, something that she had never been able to do. She said that her size was a 42 double D. So in case you are unsure, 42 is the width of the back. So that is as far as how many, I don't think it's literally inches, but that is the space around the band space that covers around your back. So that's the 42 inches. And then the cup size is double D. So those aren't small. And she said that she thought she was carrying around the weight of the world, but it really was her boobs. So she feels much more better, much more empowered, she says, with this new look. And she is feeling all svelte. Shout out to Rob Ector. He's who did the new photos for this season 2. He's a good friend, and I love his work. amazing photographer based out of Atlanta. So go check out Sherry's new look. Tell her she looks amazing because she does. And remember, if you're unhappy with something on your body, you can always change it. Just don't go overboard. So speaking of comedians, this isn't funny, but YouTube has suspended comedian and influencer Russell Brand from being able to monetize content amid allegations of sexual assault. They came to light earlier this week. Brand allegedly told USA Today that he is no longer eligible for ad revenue on videos when he posts them to the platform. They have said that YouTube said that they suspended monetization for violating the creator responsibility policy. I didn't even know that existed with YouTube, but basically, if a creator's off-platform behavior harms our users, employees, or ecosystem, and by ecosystem, that can mean anything, we take action to protect the community. Brand has denied all allegations in a video statement over the weekend, saying that all of this is something else, that any relationships he entered into have been consensual. So YouTube's moves come on the back end of a joint investigation of Brand being done by UK news outlets, the Sunday Times, the Times of London, and their Channel 4 dispatches. The investigations include allegations from 4 women, including one who was 16 years old, and all proclaim that Brand assaulted them. So at this time, no official charges have been filed against him. So my question to you is, do you think it's fair that YouTube has stepped in and blocked his way of making money based off of what could be very credible allegations? You know, we are not dismissing the victims. We are not casting any judgment on that at all. The question is simply, if you are accused of something, are these platforms, are these social media setups that you use to make money and support yourself, is it fair that they're allowed to stop it based off of this? I'm not really sure, because we always say that we want people to be held accountable. We want responsibility from, you know, the companies, the corporations, and what these people are doing. But at the same time, what's the boundary? What's the line? I often think that it should be conviction, but at the same time, people feel like it's wrong to be funding someone. And again, know nothing about the cases, am not making a judgment on Russell Brand's innocence or guilt or on the victims, just on the idea or the policy that an app or something that you utilize and derive some sort of income from it can decide based off of what someone else says without any legal precedence that we're going to suspend you for right now. Andy, what do you think?
Just like any business, they reserve the right to either conduct business with you or conduct business without. So, I think YouTube they're right in whatever they want to go ahead and do.
Okay.
I don't think it's an issue. I mean, I know about another podcast. I don't know if you're familiar with it, called the Fresh and Fit podcast.
And they deserve to get demonetized.
You see?
No, I'm just like, here's the thing. No. Seriously. I mean, I'm saying that being facetious. This is what I think.
No, that's how you really feel.
Well, I feel like I didn't find a lot of value in some of the things that they would put out. I don't mind discourse. I don't mind you having a differing opinion, but I felt like a lot of times some of the content, some of the way that they treated some of the women that they would have on as guests, you're strictly there to try and make them look foolish, to degrade them as much as you possibly can for clicks. And I don't think it's healthy. But I would not say that they aren't allowed to monetize. I would not be someone giving them those views. You know, I can't say that I've never checked it out, because I do believe in, if I'm going to critique something or if I have a problem with it, I need to know what it is. And it needs to be my opinion, not what someone has told me, in order for it to be fair. So I am perfectly okay with everything is not for me. and we need to move around. And I think that the natural selection process would take care of things like that. Like, even if it was peaked out, it would fade out and people would move on because they would get tired of it. So I didn't necessarily agree with YouTube taking it away unless they felt that they said something specifically in a show to demonetize them. The question with that, though, is they let a lot of stuff slide. So what was the tipping point?
People probably flagged the video, my boy put me up on that Fresh and Fit podcast, and there is an audience for that podcast, but I think a lot of what they say is very divisive and can be very toxic. So, I'm not surprised. Look, I believe before Elon Musk took over Twitter, Donald Trump was banned.
Right.
The Farrakhan was banned off of social media and stuff like that. So I don't think this is anything new per se.
Here's the thing. The difference to me is that with those other things, they weren't making money from it. So they're providing a service. So that's why I think it's one thing to say, yeah, you can't use our service. But if you're being, we're doing sort of a quid pro quo. All right, I'm not going to do it again because it's one of those nights. But if we're, exchanging, like, I'm providing you with content, you are providing me with a service and a platform for it, it just, of course, it's their business. They can do what they want. But it's just pretty interesting to see it roll out and such.
YouTube has branding themselves. There's probably certain things that they don't want on their platform, so to speak. So.
Absolutely. They have a lot of rules. We see them all the time. So we'll just have to see what kind of evolves with this. I like to keep a close eye on things like this just because, yeah, that person's wrong. Perhaps we don't know all the details. But how does that affect the regular people? How are the ways that they can come up against you when they start enforcing these type of things, So curious to think. And what I will say about the Fresh and Fit podcast, one thing that I always took note of is that those women willingly went on there. Even when they were shown the example of what to expect going there, they still went on there. So, you kind of can't, at least I can't. I'm not going to say too much about that because you know what you're stepping into. So
it's like the women who will call in for Kevin Samuels.
Absolutely. They wanted to, listen, when we come forward, we're going to just a little bit, we're going to talk about, the reasons why I think sometimes people set themselves up to be, abused or mishandled, shall we say. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports is up next.
I've been broke my whole life. I have no clue what to do with these racks. Baby lay, waist snatch, that straight back. Got lips like Angelina, belly truck tangerine. Jams jumping on my dick. That's why they call it trampoline. Hey, back on Monday, throw rock body. This is sweet Saturday, that's just with plastic. I say, babe, it's a snake. He said it's an entree with them pretty ass twins. You look like Beyonce, looking like money back, money back, money back.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. President Biden says the U.S. wants to responsibly manage its competition with China. Speaking to the UN General Assembly on Tuesday, the president said the U.S. will push back on aggression and intimidation, but will stand ready to work with China on issues where progress hinges on common efforts. A Miami-Dade County man is facing hate crime charges. Homestead's Jason Doster was arrested Sunday for allegedly robbing a man at an ATM in North Miami Beach. Police say the 42-year-old told the victim he was robbing him because he's Haitian. The Powerball jackpot is soaring with no grand prize winner in Monday night's drawing. The latest rollover means at least $672 million will be on the line come Wednesday. The cash value on that works out to just over $320 million. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Score big on sleep and savings during Mattress Firm's best sale of the year. Save up to $700 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable beds and get a $300 instant gift, good towards pillows and more.
On Monday, October 9th, don't miss the KBLA Talk 1580 exclusive, The Tape. 1 year later.
Y'all were coming for us.
Yeah, but Tavis, that's not in my heart. I wasn't coming for anyone like that. I apologize, but that was not me. That's not in my heart. And like I said a few moments ago, I have a solid, demonstrable record of shared power that's real and concrete. That can't be misinterpreted.
Join Tavis Smiley and an all-star panel of political insiders, influencers, and journalists for a look back at the crisis that shook LA City Hall when 4 Latino leaders were caught on tape making racist, demeaning, and derogatory statements about black people and other fellow citizens. On Monday, October 9th, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580, The Tape. 1 year later. We're broadcast live in afternoon drive from 5 to 7 p.m. with an immediate encore presentation from 7 to 9 p.m. When all was said and done, was more said than done. 1 year later. Are there fractures in LA's black-brown political partnership? And where do we go from here? Don't miss The Tape. 1 year later. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. Monday, October 9th. Live from 5 to 7 p.m. with an immediate encore presentation from 7 to 9 p.m. We've got a lot to talk about.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Watering Your Lawn during the hottest time of the day and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Dominique DePrima here. Having a good credit score is one critical step to obtain a loan to buy a home. But did you know that your credit score is just one factor in getting a mortgage loan? Think about this. Lenders also consider your income, your employment history, current monthly debts, the size of the loan, and the amount of your down payment. Whatever your financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives support you in reaching them. Access your personal financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars, working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage, career-track jobs. The Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing around anti-discrimination, learn about union apprenticeship programs, or sign on to a trade registry, please visit www.lablackworkerscenter.org. That's lablackworkerscenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes. It was a beautiful day. It's gonna be a beautiful night. Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass. Let's start it off sexy. What do you say? And all the ladies say. And all the ladies say. I think I like that. And all the ladies say.
Little Neo, shout out to Wells P. You're going to be in the San Diego area October 3rd. Check out the Champagne and Roses for Neo, Pleasure P, Mario with Wells P opening. Champagne Light. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Now, I know I have two things that I want to talk about that weren't really on the thing. First is Kevin Samuels, right? So here's the thing. I think that one of the things that people discounted, because as Andy pointed out, women did voluntarily set themselves up to say, basically, hey, judge me. I think I'm a catch. What the problem is, right? That's what they were sort of doing with him to, see the situation. And I think that, there were some uncomfortable truths in some of the things that he was saying. However, delivery is important. I talk about that all the time. And then sometimes I think that, and, rest in peace, Kevin, he went out of his way to embarrass some of the women that really might have been looking for his help. And I think that is some of why he got a bad rap. And then I think, too, as his stars started to ascend, people felt like he was feeling himself and just doing too much, maybe. But I don't know, Andy.
So first off, Kevin Samuels, although the majority of the people that he chopped it up with on the show were women, he did go in on the fellas as well, too.
He did.
I just want to put that out there. Number two, he was always speaking from the perspective of an image consultant, right? So he's speaking from a place of vanity, right? So if you don't operate under the whole vanity stuff, then a lot of what he said should be null and void. But the reality is he's speaking from a place of vanity. So when he would ask women to go ahead and rate themselves, that's all vanity. You know what I'm saying? He would be like, yo, don't use 7 because everybody uses 7. You know what I mean? Be real with yourself. And I hate to say it, man, like, it's entertainment. It's entertainment. So, yeah, he's going to throw a little bit of salt on it. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to entertainment, even bad publicity is good. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of the women weren't rocking with him like that, but a lot of the fellas was rocking with him too. And like you said, it was still women wanting to put themselves on Front Street, knowing how harsh Kevin Samuels could be. So at that, at the end of the day, for any woman who went on that platform, I mean, you got to hold yourself accountable. You can't be mad at him for going in on you.
I think, with one, to your point about vanity, I think that everyone likes to think that they're the exception to the rule, right? So, two, when you were going on a platform, right, basically like, hey, rate me, you already right there are stepping into something where the automatic response for most people is going to be to knock you down a peg or two, just because they want you to stay humble, because it's more entertaining if they do that, or that's really what they think. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I would not have sought Kevin's advice because Kevin is not representative of the type of men that I would be, interested in their opinion of. So you can't tell me about those type of men because you aren't that type of man and you aren't in the company of those type of men. So I wouldn't care what he had to say. In theory. But I do believe that for example, when he would say, I hope nobody gets mad at me. But anyway, when he would say things about the woman's appearance, depending upon the type of man that they were going for, it's kind of fair. Like, here's the thing. Because here's the thing, and I've kind of alluded to this in other conversations, but when you are going after a certain type of man or woman, there are certain things that tend to go along with those situations. And it doesn't mean that it will be that way for everyone. And it doesn't mean that that is your value in the world. But in this subset, it makes sense. It's clear. Do you know what I'm saying? I think with some of these things too, and it's easiest when you look at like a celebrity or an athlete, because one, these are situations that we can all see out there and kind of have a general consensus of. We kind of know what's happening, and there's a pattern that we can look at, or at least a history where we can kind of lock in on. And so just look at the history there. Are there women that look like you in the positions that you want to be in? And that has nothing to do with your worth as a woman. That has nothing to do with, how the world may view you. But in this particular subset, you know that they might value BBLs and a 28-inch bust down. If you're a natural girl that's dressing a little more conservative, they may not have the same type of excitement or reaction to you that someone else would. And I think sometimes too with social media, and I can't blame everything on social media, but I blame a lot of this stuff on social media, is that we have just really distorted ourselves in what we think makes us happy, what we think makes us happy as far as other people's opinions, and just sort of, the output of what a healthy relationship looks like and what is realistic for relationships. Andy, you look like you got something to say.
Nah, I was just listening. It just, had me thinking about one of the things that my boy used to always say. He would be like, Jay-Z could go to a McDonald's, right, and see Beyonce as a cashier and would look at Beyonce and be like, she's valuable, right, based on her looks.
Yep.
Let's flip it around, though. Let Jay-Z be the individual.
The cashier?
Be that cashier and let Beyonce walk in.
Nope.
And ain't nobody, like, Jay-Z wouldn't even get a chance.
Not at all.
And why is that?
Why is that? Because here's the thing, right? If you are the traffic stopper, right? The showstopper, you are the piece de resistance, right? You could do better. That's all. You could do better. That's it.
So you're referring to Beyonce walking into McDonald's,
right?
Seeing Jay-Z behind the counter. But why isn't Jay-Z valuable? I mean, I know the answer.
Here's the thing. It's not that he's not valuable, and you know that, but it's just that it depends on what she needs, where she's at too. I mean, and this goes in the other reverse too, right? If she is Beyonce, that is, let's say, Beyonce that is working as an administrative assistant, trying to work her way up, then maybe cashier Jay-Z would have worked out, right? But if she is exposed to stockbroker, tech bro, Lindell, that was her first boyfriend's name or whatever, just things that, then she's going to be like, I can do this over here. So why am I with Fry Guy, and we smelling like a Happy Meal when I could go over here and get all of this? Just like there is a sweet, chubby, or facially less than status, I guess, girl that probably loved you or loved one of your boys that you bypassed and overlooked. She probably had a bomb personality, would do your homework for you when you were in school. She just had a little extra fluff, or that face wasn't it wasn't symmetrical and didn't work for you, and you bypassed her for the bad chick. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. They will say, okay, this works for now, but if I have my option, if I could get exposed to my dream or someone that is on a higher level and they might take me seriously, I'm going to go for that and make you the backup plan.
And that's all Kevin Samuels was preaching. That's it. Especially, you want that high value man? You want that tech guy? You want this individual? This is what you got to do.
Right. But I do think sometimes though, he gave some of these men a little more credit, because sometimes it's like, and you don't have to be that perfect for some of these guys. I understand if you're talking about the athletes and the entertainers, that's a different thing. And really though, realistically, anybody could be continental with their playing game at this point in time because of social media. But we know that physically, in the presence, that those people can move a little differently, and it takes a different thing to titillate them at this point because they're exposed to so much. Urban Spinster's laughing at me saying a little facially challenged, but I mean, keep it real. How often have you encouraged your boy like, yeah, she a little chubby dog, or yeah, that face is not quite hitting, but she's a good girl and you should give her a try. Women are always told to do that. Men are never told to do that. You thinking about it because you know I'm right.
We ain't never told to do what?
You were never told to like, give that girl a try. She ain't quite hitting, but give her a try. Like we're going to play the Tyler Perry clip in a little bit. But how Tyler was like, ladies, you make $200,000 a year. It's okay to get with the plumber that makes $25,000 and he pays the light bill.
Yeah.
Encouraging them to settle, right? Men are never told, yo, she a little, and the reason why I go back to fat, because I feel like fat is the final sin for men. You can have a kind of unattractive face, but you got a big butt, they'll bypass it. Your body is banging, but your face is, they'll give you that before they'll give a pretty faced woman that has a little extra padding on her. They'll complain more about that, I feel. And Urban Spencer agrees with me. Women are always told that we should settle. Why? Men are never like, you should go be with that moderately attractive woman, because she's a good woman. You were never told, that's a good woman. She a little ugly, but she's a good woman. Women are told that all the time. T. Sworn says it does happen. Andy, you looking like, I don't know if I want to step into this conversation.
No. I don't have no problem stepping in. I just don't know which angle to go ahead and attack it. But I just feel like most men, we really ain't got no standards like that. You know what I'm saying? So you could be fat, unattractive, but you got a body. Yeah, we smashing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But hear what I said. Smashing is not claiming and dating.
Right.
What you will do in the dark of the night, or like I said, it's a lot of homosexuals out there. What you will do to pay a bill or three is different from, this is my lady.
You're right. Yeah, we not wifing that.
And your boy is not encouraging you like, give Chubby a shot. Give girl that's a little fluffy. Your boy is not pushing that on you like, you've been going with bad chicks your whole life. Maybe try this sweet, wholesome, chubby girl, and she could be right for you. She gonna treat you right. She gonna love you. She gonna have dinner on the table. Men don't get those type of pep talks, but women are also told, it's okay that he can't really provide for you. Girl, he loves you. It's okay that you footing all the bills. Girl, he loves you. Men are never told, she loves you. It's okay that she doesn't fulfill your wants and needs.
Well, we have to pursue you.
Right.
We're the one we're chasing you.
Okay.
So we have to chase after what it is that we want.
But, and I also subscribe in 2023, how many men are really doing the chasing unless they really want a woman? I feel like somehow I fret.
Yeah, I don't.
We have switched up, and there are a lot of people that believe that men are the prize.
You're damn right, because I'm the prize too.
You the prize. You said two. I'm talking about period.
Well, I mean, realistically, we know that you're the prize, but I subscribe to the fact that we're the prize as well too, and I feel like women should put, generally speaking, women should put a little bit of effort. And I'm not saying you court us, you holler at us. No, just express or I'm speaking from experience. There was one time I was trying to get at somebody, and quite frankly, if I didn't call, if I didn't text, I didn't hear from her at all. And this is after maybe like 3 or 4 dates. And she's expressed interest in the sense that, like, oh, she would want to be in a relationship. But if I don't call her, if all I'm asking for is a good morning. Hey, how you doing? I had a dope night last night. Let's do it again. If I don't get any of that, I'm gone.
I feel you on that. I think sometimes, though, women are taught to, if you go back to, and Urban Spencer mentioned the patriarchy system, women are told that showing too much interest in men makes you look thirsty, makes you look vulnerable to be taken advantage of. That men, because you just said men are the pursuers, right? So if you are...
We get called thirsty too.
You do, but I don't think saying a woman's thirsty is a different degree of things. That just makes her sound pathetic.
It's just a way that you do it. That's all I gotta say.
Perhaps.
It's a way
I mean, when people say men are thirsty, that usually they're just basically saying they're horny or something, and people just write it off a little bit, right? But with women, it seems like it reeks of desperation, and that just kind of seems to take them down a weight or two. T. Sworn says that dudes do say that, just not that goofy. I don't know. I don't hear guys saying, man, chubby girl really likes you. You should take her out. Give her a shot. I bet you she makes a great Sunday dinner.
If we do say that, we're definitely saying that jokingly.
Exactly. Not saying take her seriously, like give her a shot, dog. Nobody's saying that.
But I also will say that when it does get to a point where, the dude ends up being with whoever it is, attractive, non-attractive, most of us will still support it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're going to be friends. You're not going to be like, with your homegirl. You like, oh, you still with Dogface, dude? Oh, okay. When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Whether financing is needed to increase working capital, acquire a business, purchase inventory and equipment, or refinance debt, Lendistry has a solution for you. Lending products range from traditional business term loans and non-revolving lines of credit to SBA 7A loans and commercial real estate financing. Lendistry's pre-application process is simple and does not impact your credit score. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more and to get started with an application right from the website.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the Dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So, we're getting ready for this Tyler clip. And boy, we're going to have a lot of conversation about that because, Andy and I are on opposite sides of the fence here a little bit with this. I will just preface this before we get into the full scope of it next hour. We're also going to talk about allegedly what caused Jeezy to file for divorce, and it fits along with this topic that we're talking about. I just think that historically, and I don't mean for all of time, but I'm sure you could include that in there. But let's just say for the past 30 or so years, let's just say since, talk shows have been big, Jenny Jones, Jerry Springer, Oprah, Ricky Lake, all of that time period, right, where we would see these things sort of played out. And we see the extension of that now with these relationship podcasts and so forth. I think that women were told, listen, your key to happiness and freedom is through a broke man. And I don't feel like men were ever sold that kind of dream as well. I don't have a problem with people working together, but I do have a problem that women are always told, hey, you should settle, and men are never told, you should probably step it up a little bit. But we're going to get into all of that on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's all about their fast car